Trump has hit back overnight in a defiant address to his supporters in Florida. It, of course, followed his appearance in a New York court yesterday, where he pleaded not guilty to 34 felony charges. Well, let's go live to Florida now. ITV News correspondent Robert Moore is in Florida. And you watched that speech, of course, overnight. Robert, I thought he was quite subdued. What did you sense of it?
Well, to be honest, Ranvir, it struck me as typical Trump. You know, it must have driven his legal team kind of almost mad because he broke through all of the kind of parameters they had set him. I mean, he attacked the prosecutors. He even attacked the judge. He even attacked the judge's wife. I mean, this is a man who is now a criminal defendant. You would think that he might have attempted to be more diplomatic and tactful, but that's not Donald Trump. And once more, Ranvir, this is about, you know, exhilarating his loyalists, his base, and outraging many centrist and more liberal Americans. So, to my mind, this was classic Trump. Nothing changes with him, for better or for worse. And
it's working, isn't it? I mean, the polling for him is showing that he's up, that he might well be back in the White House.
Well, let's get sort of one foot ahead of the other first. I mean, it may well win him the Republican nomination because this is all content and rhetoric against sort of the legal system, against sort of left-wing prosecutors, against sort of Democratic-run cities that certainly pleases those on the right of American politics. But beyond winning the Republican nomination, he has to win the presidential race itself in 18 months' time. And it's not at all clear this is a sort of language that more sort of centrist, moderate voters want to hear. So, you know, it's classic Trump, and there's nothing, you know, he'll never be tactful. He'll always go for the vintage sort of rhetoric that appeals to his loyal base of supporters.
Well, talking of that, joining me now is supporter of Donald Trump, Toni Holt Kramer, the founder and president of Trumpets USA. You were there, weren't you, physically there last night?
Yes,
did
of
it
course
give you,
I was there.
Yeah, did it give you what you wanted as a Trump supporter? Was it the rallying call that you were looking for?
Well, I think that it's not just me, and also the fact that so many people around the world, around the country, know that Donald Trump is the only person that can save our country. And I do believe, and I think that Bragg handed him the presidency again on a silver platter. We are all sure, and it's not just the right-wing base. I do take exception to that because you could have said that perhaps years ago. But today I have to say that anybody with a brain, anybody who loves America, anybody who loves their country. I mean, it won't stay in America if we get into this real socialist leftist. We have the worst president, in my opinion, we have ever had. The left is doing devious things. We are all living through it. We see it. I know you're all in touch, and I know you're feeling some of it in England,
well,
I think,
Toni,
as well.
I think what's really fascinating from watching, you know, across the pond, really, from the sidelines, really, is that I think he hasn't denied the affairs. We know some of it. We don't know what is going to be proven or what is going to be said in December at the trial and so on. But from our point of view, I suppose we wonder. Last night you said he thanked his supporters, he thanked his family, but by name, many of them. But he omitted Melania. Now, as women, I think we wonder how is it that American women like yourselves support Trump in those circumstances?
Most devoted wife. I am at the club. I have been for many years. I knew Donald Trump and Melania before he was president and she was first lady. So consequently, I know them extremely well. On that stage, if you broaden the photograph, you would see Melania right next to me. And that was one of my big celebrating Trump events.
Yes, I started the Trump. But let's just get to the point of the press conference. You know, this is the biggest moment in his political career. Why didn't he mention her? What do you know of that situation?
He said his family. In case you don't understand, Lorraine, a wife is your family. He said, "I thank my family," and and Melania is always there. I've seen her there all this week.
And can I ask you, the judge specifically said to Mr. Trump, don't incite violence. Of course, there was this photograph of him holding a baseball bat against the DA. I mean, you are one of his key supporters. Do you think that there will be violence if he's convicted? What do you think is going to happen on the streets of America?
In my opinion, I don't think he'll be convicted at all. And I think most people don't. And if you had seen the ballroom at Mar-a-Lago last night, people were crammed so closely together, you couldn't even move. We were fortunate to have seats. There were many that came 2 hours before to stand, just stand packed together to be there and to hear him.
Can I just ask you, though?
The support was riveting. It was the most extraordinary.
And I think you're absolutely right about all of that. I mean, it is, the polls are showing it. Can I just ask you, though, do you condone the kind of social media messaging, like the picture of him holding a baseball bat alongside the face of the district attorney?
Why don't I answer you this way? I don't condone what the left has done to this country.
But do you condone this kind of, the sort of thing that the judge was saying don't do?
We are having the worst economy now. We were oil independent until the day after Biden stepped into office.
Toni, you're not answering the question about inciting rioting on the streets. Do you condone that as a Trumpette?
Silly. He does not condone it, and the Trumpettes don't condone it. The Trumpettes are all over the world, Lorraine, and certainly in England, we have many supporters, many, many, many. I'm sure you read the papers there, and I'm sure you see me a lot in the London papers. The Trumpettes are the people all over the world, Trumpsters as well, men as well, who are there for president, there to save our country, because our country will also be reflected in your country. And I'm sure you're feeling some now.
Yep.
And you will see it around the world.
Toni, let me just quickly go back to Robert, if Robert's still there. We've only got a few seconds here, Robert, but obviously what's at stake here is justice, is democracy, is all of the things that, Toni, the future of America in many ways rests on what happens now. What will happen? A fair trial is absolutely key, that it is seen to be fair. He says the judge already hates him.
Well, that's true. And look, let's remember, Ranvir, this isn't just about this particular case. There's 3 other major investigations, which also could lead to criminal indictment. So the legal drama, the net around Donald Trump is certainly closing. I think what we're hearing, from the Trumpettes and from others is that really there is no center ground left in American politics. He exhilarates some and he outrages others. And that's the story of Donald Trump as we head into this critical race towards the 2024 presidential campaign.
Right. Well, it's absolutely brilliant to have you both on this morning. Thanks to both Toni and to Robert this morning.
It's a shame that you really don't get it. I'm so sorry I missed your name, but you're a gentleman.
I'm very honoured to be called Lorraine. You can rename me.
No, I know your name.
For me, it means Lorraine. An amazing thing. So, listen, we must leave it there. We must leave it there. Thank you so much to both of you.
You're not looking at things correctly, and I'm sorry that you don't really see it, because if you love America and you say you're in Florida, then you should be absorbing what is going on throughout this country.
This debate is going to carry on. Robert is one of our fantastic correspondents. It's lovely to see you both on the show. I think she's still talking, but she's passionate, and that's what we like on this show.